everyone, my name is Alina and this is the Sleep Talks channel. Today I want to talk about the fuel of insomnia, the sleep efforts. So let me start by saying that efforts in general are a really normal thing. It is the product of our problem-solving mechanism. It is built in us, and this is the way how we achieve things. So whenever we meet some problem or some issue or a goal, then our brain uses this mechanism in order to come up with the best possible solution and achieve the goal. So without it, we would not be able to accomplish a lot of things that we are doing. So in general, this is like normal and useful mechanism. But when it comes to sleep, this problem-solving mechanism is not really productive. And it is because sleep works a little bit differently than any other issues. So imagine that sleep is like a darkness. It is an unconscious process, it cannot be controlled, and it is passive. So that means in order for us to fall asleep, we actually don't need to do anything. And if we use that analogy with the darkness, so sleep is absence of attention, awareness. We are not in focus. We are not actively thinking about something when we sleep. So efforts on the other side are actual attention. It is consciousness. It is focus on something, on achieving something. And when we are doing any sorts of efforts, we are very much aware of things we are solving. So when efforts meet sleep, it works like we are trying to catch the darkness with turning lights on. So that means once we try to solve our sleep, to make our sleep better, we actually put a lot of consciousness on sleep, which is an unconscious process. And by doing so, sleep disappears. So the less we try, the less efforts we do, the more likely or easier for sleep to come. So how do we actually recognize the efforts? Well, first of all, it is enough to ask yourself a question. Am I doing it for what reason? What is the intention behind my actions, behind things I want to do? And if your intention is to fall asleep or to maintain sleep or any sort of attempt to control sleep, then it means that this is an effort. Just to give you some ideas what those efforts really are, I split them in three major categories. So the first category is efforts, actions. This is something very proactive that we do in order to control sleep. For example, it could be we buy blackout curtains, or we decide to take some special supplements like melatonin or I don't know, like vitamin C or whatever. By doing so, this is actually we add something to our routine, like we specifically do some like certain behavior. Then the second type is efforts, inactions. This is usually the avoidance behaviors. It is usually, let's say, avoiding coffee or avoiding some like blue light in the evening, or canceling your plans with friends in the evening, or these kind of things. And then the third, the tricky type, is efforts, thoughts. It is usually our attempt to think some right thoughts, like for example, apply positive thinking, like forcing it, or like telling ourselves some sort of like affirmations with intent to improve our sleep. Or it could be avoiding getting rid of particular thoughts that we consider wrong. For example, we try not to think about sleep, we try not to think about anxiety, and just like, close our ears and like pretend that this is not happening. With those three types of efforts, the question is like, what do we actually do with them once we detect them? So I see here like three ways how we can work with it. The first one is usually like dismiss the effort. And that means that once you realize that you are about to do something that has intent to force sleep, then you usually decide to just don't do it. Let's say you want to take some vitamin that you think that will improve your sleep, so you just decide like, I'm not gonna take it today. Or the second way could be doing the opposite, and it's really similar to the first one, but the difference is that here we're kind of amplifying this effect of doing the opposite. So let's say you're avoiding coffee, and then you want to face your fear intentionally, and you decide to drink 2 cups of coffee. By doing so, you kind of like show bravery, show courage, that you're not afraid of not sleeping. So you tell to your brain that, okay, I'm not gonna be scared by you. So you just do the thing that you're scared of the most. The third way how you can work with efforts is just acknowledging it, just implying being aware of those efforts and not responding to them in any way. So for example, it works really well with efforts thoughts. So whenever you have some sort of like a thought, and you have like intention either like to, you know, get rid of it, or like just make yourself to think in particular way, then you just acknowledge that, okay, I'm just doing that and it is an effort, and you decide not to react, like not do anything about it. So those 3 ways, the ones that I was using in my own journey, and of course it is up to you which one you decide to use for yourself. It could be something more straightforward, or it can be something more gentle, like the third way, just acknowledging it and not reacting to it. Usually consult with your own feelings. Whatever you're comfortable with, just go with it. I hope this episode was helpful to you, and if you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section. I will be glad to answer them. And thank you for listening to me. Bye.